All right, Vince back here with another video, and yuck. Sorry, I was having a cookie and a crumble on my shirt. Um, okay, so this is another Christian values video. If you're a wrestling fan and you're expecting wrestling, I just want to let you know that there is good news. There's 10,000 pro wrestling channels on here who talk about the same thing, so tons of channels on here to get your information. And I know that I built this channel up with pro wrestling. So people come here as pro wrestling fans and they expect the hard hitting wrestling news. That's not really my thing anymore on here. So please feel free to unsubscribe. That's totally okay because you're probably not going to get your wrestling stuff here. Sometimes I talk about wrestling on Twitter and stuff though. So you can get some wrestling there and stuff, but that's not really my thing in life anymore. I'm all about my path with God right now and living the morale life. And what I want to talk about tonight is what to do when you feel like you're fading away from your Christianity. What to do on the days where you feel distant from your faith, because this happens. When you first are reborn as a Christian, it's unbelievable. It's like awe inspiring. It takes over your soul. It takes over your mind and takes over your thoughts 24/7. It really does, and it just is this new and exciting thing. But like anything else, as 6 months go, the excitement of it, tends to fade a little bit. So maybe you have a day where you don't necessarily pray as much or give thanks as much. I mean, there is those days, and they do happen where you maybe don't think about God, too much. Those days do happen. I had 2 days this week where I felt distant from my faith, distant from my plan with God. But I made sure on those 2 days, I still continue to wear my cross, which keeps Jesus close to my heart. And also, I made sure that I did my prayers that night. They were quick prayers, they weren't long prayers, but I made sure that even though I was distant on my faith on those evenings, it was okay. I was still there. And then for me, what I'm noticing is that when I have a day where I'm distant from my faith, I'll come back the next day and I'll get like a bunch of reminders about why I'm living this way, why I'm living as a Christian, why I'm living this path. And it's like the signs just come. The signs just come the next day about why I've dedicated my life to this and being who I am in 2021. The signs just come. I can't really explain it. Like for instance, I'll run into somebody, a fellow Christian, and we'll get into a long conversation, and that'll jog my memory about what I'm doing. Or I'll be in a particular instance at work where I'll get in a conversation with someone, and it'll remind me about what I'm doing, and it'll bring me right back to my faith and where I am. Like I had probably like 2 days this week where my faith was a bit distant, but then today I was reminded over and over again about why my faith is important to me and why living in a morale way, a clean life, is the most important thing you can do. Eventually getting one day to heaven, which is the ultimate goal for me, is to dedicate each life or each day for the rest of my life so I can get to heaven with God. Now, I'm not saying that Christianity is for everybody. I'm not saying that you have to believe what I believe, or you're wrong. These are my beliefs. These are my views on Christianity. That people are going to be distant from you. People are not going to understand what you're saying. But once you get this stuff down, and once you start believing in a path of morale behavior, it'll clean up your life so much more. Then you'll look back at all the stupid stuff you used to do. You'll look back at all the bad decisions you used to make and think to yourself, gosh, I'd like to really slap that guy. Gosh, I'd really like to slap some sense into that guy. And that's really how I feel about when I lived on a path of sin for so many years. I look at those decisions made now and I just shake my head at having zero faith back then. and the people that affected it, I affected a lot of people in a negative way. I had no clue on being kind to people. I had no control over lust. I had no faith. I would say terrible things about people and do these terrible things. And I'm just thankful I don't live that way anymore. And these days, instead of, say you see someone that you sort of know at the local I don't know, shop, grocery store, whatever. Say you see someone you sort of know, and you're not really sure. Like, well, I'm just gonna run from them and ignore them and not talk to them and not be friendly. Walk right by them, engage the conversation, talk to them, see how they're doing. You never know really how you're touching someone's life by just giving them a few minutes. I was told today by a coworker, and this made me feel so good. This made me feel so good. A coworker told me today, he goes, Vince, one of the highlights of my day is talking to you and spending a few minutes with you. I love our conversations. And it just stood me back a bit that somebody loved talking to me. Somebody felt me back so much that one of the best parts of their day was talking to me. I don't know. It's weird. For a long time, I think people looked at me, especially at work, and I think they looked at me and they assumed that I was going to be unkind and angry towards them and negative towards them. And now it's just a bit different. It's like people are getting to know that when they're around me, they're going to be received with kindness and warmth. And to be honest with you, a lot of people are giving it back. That kindness and warmth, and giving their time and their love back, even if they don't understand why I'm being nice. It's just Christianity is the ultimate path. It'll guide you on so many levels. It'll guide you financially if you give God control. It'll guide you. It'll guide you on anger, and having having something to reach for when you're angry. It'll give you clarity on right and wrong. It'll give you an answer. Should I go do this or shouldn't I go do this? People are saying bad things about each other. It'll take you out of that conversation and remind you of your faith. So having strong faith maybe isn't there every day, and you have your days where you're hurting and you don't want to talk to anyone, and you have your days. But then another situation comes up the next day and you get a reminder about why you're living this way. It's the ultimate path. Christianity is the ultimate path for a life of happiness. Even if you're alone, even if you're sitting alone and there's no one there and no one understands what you're thinking, you know that you're not really alone. I'm telling you, Christianity is in my view, it's the ultimate path to eternal happiness, and it'll keep your butt out of trouble. Christianity not only will take care of you emotionally, not only will it take care of you physically, but it'll keep you safe. It'll keep you safe. I just look at some of the people I used to run with, and I used to look at some of the people I used to associate myself with that I wouldn't touch now. And I look back at those decisions and I'm like, unbelievable, how far my journey in Christianity has come. And just the kindness just comes in, the joy that I feel to wake up each day, no matter the stressful situations that would have necessarily cracked me before. Now I know I have something to reach for. It's the ultimate. So I'm sorry this wasn't a wrestling video. I didn't mean to disappoint you guys. This is just a big deal in my life, and this is where I'm at. Thank you.